What would you do if a zombie apocalypse happened today? It's a question that, for some, might seem ripped straight from the pages of a horror novel, but for others, it's a scenario worth preparing for. What was once a figment of pop culture has found its way into our collective conscience, forcing us to grapple with the unthinkable, a world overrun by the undead. Imagine, if you will, a typical Tuesday turned terrifying. Your suburban neighborhood, once filled with the hum of daily life, now echoes with the guttural growls of the undead. Or perhaps you're in a bustling city where skyscrapers, once symbols of human achievement, have become towering tombs. In each scenario, the key to survival is the same: preparation. Whether it's knowing how to fortify your home or understanding the basics of zombie behavior, being ready can make all the difference. Because in a world flipped upside down, the only thing you can count on is your ability to adapt. Survival, after all, begins with readiness. In a zombie apocalypse, being prepared is not just an option, it's a requirement. So let's talk about what that preparation looks like, starting with the cornerstone of survival, the survival kit. Think of your survival kit as your lifeline. It's your best friend, your companion, and your safety net. It's what stands between you and the horde of hungry undead. But what exactly goes into this kit? First and foremost, food and water. And not just any food, but non-perishable items. Things like canned goods, energy bars, dried fruits and nuts. And water? You'll need at least a gallon per person per day. Remember, you're not just drinking this water, you might need to clean wounds or wash up. Next, a first aid kit, because when the zombies come knocking, you can bet there'll be a few bumps and bruises along the way. Your first aid kit should include basics like bandages, antiseptic wipes, tweezers, medical tape, and pain relievers. But don't forget items for more serious injuries, like splints and tourniquets. Now let's talk weapons. In a world where the dead walk, you can't afford not to be armed. But before you start dreaming of machine guns and flamethrowers, remember, the best weapon is the one you can handle. A good, sturdy melee weapon like a baseball bat or crowbar can be just as effective as any firearm. And it's silent too. There's more to a survival kit than just these essentials, of course. Things like a flashlight, batteries, a multi-tool, and a map can all come in handy. But food, water, first aid, and weapons, those are your bread and butter. So there you have it, the 4 pillars of your survival kit. With these in place, you're ready to face whatever the apocalypse throws at you. Because in a world gone mad, preparation isn't just about staying alive. It's about thriving. With a well-prepared survival kit, you've already won half the battle. To survive, you have to know what you're up against. So, let's dive right into the world of the undead. Zombies, walkers, biters, geeks, whatever you want to call them, they've been portrayed in various ways in popular culture. From the slow, shambling corpses of George Romero's classics, to the sprinting terrors in films like 28 Days Later, these creatures are as diverse as they are deadly. First, we have the classic zombies, the ones that started it all. These are your shamblers, slow and seemingly mindless. They might not be the fastest or the smartest, but they make up for it in sheer numbers. Their strength lies in their relentless pursuit and their ability to overwhelm their victims. However, their slow speed and lack of intelligence can be used to your advantage. Outrun them, outthink them, and you might just survive. Then we have the runners, popularized in more recent films. These zombies are faster, more aggressive, and arguably a lot scarier. Their speed and aggression make them formidable foes. But remember, they're not invincible. Aim for the head and keep your distance. Next up, we have what I like to call the smart zombies. These are the ones that seem to retain some level of intelligence, able to use tools or set traps. They're a rare breed, but if you encounter one, be prepared for a tougher fight. But remember, their intelligence also means they can be tricked or outsmarted. Finally, there are the mutants. These are zombies that have somehow evolved or mutated into something more. They could be larger, stronger, or have some kind of special ability. They're the wildcards in the zombie apocalypse, unpredictable and dangerous. But like all zombies, they have weaknesses. Figure out what it is and exploit it. In this relentless game of survival, knowledge is power. Understanding the strengths and weaknesses of your undead foes can mean the difference between life and, well, you know. Knowing what you're up against can give you a fighting chance. The living dead are roaming the streets. Where do you go? In a world overrun by the undead, finding a safe haven is more than just a comfort, it's a necessity. Let's explore some potential sanctuaries. First, consider your own home. It's familiar, and you know the ins and outs. However, it might also be the first place the undead would look. So if you decide to stay put, fortification is key. Reinforce your doors and windows, create escape routes, and always have a backup plan. Now let's think bigger, like shopping malls. These massive structures often have multiple entrances and exits, and are filled with resources, food, clothing, even makeshift weapons, but they also attract others, both living and dead. If you opt for a mall, you'll need to secure the perimeters, block entrances, and always be on the lookout for breaches. Maybe you're thinking of escaping the urban chaos entirely. Rural areas, with their open spaces and lower population density, can be appealing. A farm, for instance, can provide food and potentially a defensible position. But remember, isolation also means fewer resources, and help might be miles away. Regardless of where you decide to hunker down, fortification is crucial. You're not just keeping the undead out, you're keeping yourself in. Think barricades, traps, and surveillance systems. Use whatever you have at hand. Books can become bricks, furniture can create barriers, and mirrors can help you see around corners. But don't just fortify the physical. Strengthen your resolve too. You'll need to be mentally prepared to face whatever comes your way. Keep your spirits up, maintain hope, and remember, survival isn't just about living through the night. It's about waking up ready for the next day. Remember, a safe place is not just about the location, but also about how well it's fortified. Surviving a zombie apocalypse is more than just hiding. It's about outsmarting your enemy. Let's start with a cardinal rule: avoid large crowds. Zombies are attracted to noise and movement, so the last place you want to be is in the middle of a panicked mob. Instead, stay low, stay quiet, and move stealthily. Stick to the shadows and use the cover of night to your advantage. Remember, your goal is not to fight every zombie you see, but to survive. Next, let's talk about distractions. Zombies, with their limited cognitive abilities, are easily fooled. Use this to your advantage. If you need to pass a horde of zombies, create a diversion. Throw a rock, a can, anything that makes noise in the opposite direction. The zombies will be drawn to the sound, giving you a window to slip past. It's a simple trick, but it can save your life. Now, if a confrontation is unavoidable, always aim for the head. Zombies are driven by their brain, so a hit to the head is the most effective way to take them down. But remember, melee attacks are risky. You're putting yourself within biting range, so if you can, use a long-range weapon. A bow and arrow, a slingshot, even a sturdy piece of wood can do the trick. Also, keep in mind, survival isn't just about fighting, it's about resourcefulness. Learn basic survival skills like starting a fire, purifying water, and identifying edible plants. These skills can keep you alive when food and clean water are scarce. Above all, don't lose hope. Even in the darkest times, hope can be your strongest ally. It can keep you going when everything else fails. It can give you the strength to fight, the will to survive. In the end, survival is not just about strength, but also about wits. It's about making the right decisions at the right time. It's about using your brain, not just your brawn. And remember, in a zombie apocalypse, the true enemy is not the zombies, but despair. Don't let it win. To recap, surviving a zombie apocalypse involves preparation, knowing your enemy, finding a safe haven, and employing smart survival tactics. Preparation, both physical and mental, is the cornerstone of survival. It's about gathering resources, honing skills, and mentally preparing for the challenges ahead. Knowing your enemy is equally vital. Understanding the behavior, strengths, and weaknesses of zombies can give you a significant advantage. It's not just about brute force, it's about outsmarting them. Finding a safe haven, a place that is defensible and sustainable, is another crucial element. It's not just about surviving today, it's about ensuring survival for the days to come. And finally, survival tactics. These are the strategies and techniques that you employ in the face of danger. It can be as simple as knowing when to fight and when to hide, or as complex as setting up traps and diversions. Remember, in a zombie apocalypse, survival isn't about being the strongest or the fastest. It's about being the most prepared.